Like I drove 2 hours to go see this guy, whatever. Why did you ghost me? You want to tell him?
I was in jail.
What was it? Public
uh,
intoxication. Yeah. So that was like the first point of our story, So then, for me, and I feel like this has been, I say this all the time. I always knew who Taylor was sober.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Sober. Strong. Apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. Heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for the ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor, and every piece you throw on says you're part of the crew that doesn't. Back down. Every order fuels recovery, with 10% donated to treatment facilities, because we don't just talk about it, we stand on it. Hit SoberStrongApparel.com and use code ROCKBOTTOM at checkout for 10% off.
So I'm Taylor, and I'm one of the owners of Dry Oak, and we're located downtown Covington. And this all pretty much started because of my story through addiction and alcoholism, which I know we'll get into a little bit later on. But yeah, luckily I have a wonderful wife who decided to jump on board when I decided that this is something that I wanted to do. And she said, okay, if this is going to help you and it'll help others, we're going to do it. So she kind of came into this with an open mind and beautified it all, because I couldn't make it this pretty, and she did. So I'm thankful for that.
Let's so share a little background about Cayla.
Yeah. So my name's Cayla Oler. I'm one of the co-founders of Dry Oak too, Taylor's wife. And so, yeah, we started this about a year ago. Taylor struggled with addiction for most of his life. And so our goal in offering this was to offer a space. Like, we saw what was missing kind of in his journey and all of his struggles and everything he went through. So that was one of our goals after he got sober, to offer an inclusive space that's elevated, that makes people feel good. And so, yeah, it's been really, really good. Like, it has, like I said, we've been open up a year and it has just blown up and taken off.
Awesome.
I feel like the community's taken well to it. And it's just, we are here to tell our story because we know how dark it can get, and we know what we've been through, and we know there's so many that are going through the same thing and just don't want to speak up. So we're like, we'll speak up for them. And yeah, in starting the Dry Oak, it's just caused this whole just ripple effect. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And you guys are working with other companies now and getting other deals arranged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We can't wait to very soon we'll make an announcement on our next venture. We're super excited about it. It's crazy what God can do when you let him.
Yeah.
And I will like to tell you a story about the name of the Dry Oak.
I would love to hear it.
We originally started with mobile bars, and we would fill them up with mocktails and different beers, because and I know Cayla knows, it's very difficult to stay on track when you go to festivals, or down here we have Mardi Gras, or you go to weddings. There's no option for us. So we started out with those, we filled them up, and we rented them out. And we had a name that I won't say because we were going to get sued for using that name. They had sent us a letter basically telling us if we didn't change our name, that
they would cease and desist in an email.
They would sue us. So, we sat back and we prayed about it. And, that day it dropped in my head, and I told Cayla, I was like, how about the Dry Oak?
And break it down for him.
And she was like, yeah, you can tell.
So dry, meaning non-alcoholic. Oak tree is a southern tree that's deeply rooted. So that reminds me of Taylor and all the stuff that he's gone through. They can withstand storms, all etc. So we do that, and I'm pointing because I have like our thing up here. And then we added in the in front of it. And then once we did the sub logo, we're like TDO. That ended up being his initials, first, middle, and last to the T. And we're like,
that is cool.
That was God. Yeah. So it worked out better than our original name.
Yeah. So they did us a favor by sending us that.
Yeah, they did us a favor. Yeah. So yeah, we had
Awesome.
like a little bump in the road. Like we were here ready to launch as that previous name, and then we got that email.
Yeah.
And
We
of course,
literally were about to open up, like in 3 weeks. We had everything printed,
yeah, we had all the signage,
all this,
everything. So
everything.
we just had to scrap everything and start over, but it worked out better. So now, yeah, we're protected. We've gotten everything trademarked, so we don't, yeah. So
That's
nobody comes after
awesome.
us again, you know?
I like that. I like that. It turned out to be the initials, and it turned out to kind of just be
Yeah,
about
it
Taylor's
ties
deep
in with our
rootedness.
story. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That is really cool. So how long ago did the idea first come to mind, and then how long did it take for it to start coming to fruition? About a year ago.
So I guess this whole journey with with the mobile mocktail bars and all that, I guess we could say almost 3 years.
Yeah, going on
Be
3
going on
years.
3 years. It was just part of, my sobriety story. I knew like it was something in my heart that was pulling me that I wanted to help people because I wanted them to come out of that dark place and I wanted them to feel seen and I just wanted to help people because I knew how dark that place was. And I just prayed about it. And one day it was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to give people a place to come to be able to just feel seen and known. And I'm going to let all my skeletons out and I'm going to make sobriety cool. I want to make it feel like, hey, you're not a loser. I mean, this is okay to be like this. Look, in the beginning, people looked at me like I was crazy, especially being from New Orleans. And with my story, people couldn't believe what was going on,
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. And as the weeks went by and I continued to talk and we could we started getting more and more people coming and sharing their story with us. Man, this town, this city, the New Orleans area has been phenomenal. It's amazing, just to watch the people come in and be able to, be who they are and help us walk that journey with them. It's
Yeah.
been beautiful.
That's great. No, when you're giving the tour of the store, I was just looking at like these bottles, reminding me of bottles of like champagne, Cristal, and stuff. I'm like, I could still feel like I'm living it up when I'm sober too.
Yeah,
That's
and
yep.
that's the whole point. That's like with the mocktail bars, I feel like that was our first concept of offering, like I was saying earlier, an elevated experience. Cause like Taylor said, people feel like, and especially people who are deep in addiction, they don't feel good. They don't feel good about themselves, and offering them an experience like that to where they're like, okay, I can exist and coexist with other people and in a nice way. It just, yeah, it's something about, yeah, just having something like tangible in your hand too. Half the
Yeah.
time, it's something that looks nice, because we have people too that walk through our doors. A lot of the times they just don't want to be asked questions. Like no
Yeah.
matter where they are in their journey, they're like, hey, look, I'm not ready to talk about this yet, but I just want to have something to where I don't feel out of place when I'm here. So it's been, yeah, incredible. But yeah, definitely. And we're very selective on everything that's in our store. We taste. And it has to look good. It has to taste good.
Yeah.
I'm very psychotic about it, but it's
Yeah.
good.
No,
And
it's
and
good. It's
one
good to have
thing
OCD
too,
on things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
we really like to work with smaller businesses
Yeah.
and grow together because we want to be able to know like, hey, if Ryan has a beverage shop, I want to be able to talk to you and know like, and then it feels like a family.
Yeah.
And I can call you, you can call me, we can lean on one another for ideas. It's no competition. It's just growing together and helping this community grow. And that's what we've done. And it has been
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, like me and my first sponsor through this podcast, Sober Strong Apparel. They're pretty big. You guys probably seen them online and stuff. And the fact that I get to like just talk to him personally all the time and kind of just say like, hey, how do you feel about this ad that I'm doing? Or how do he asks me questions. Hey, I'm gonna send you a shirt. It's just like kind of cool that we get to work together and then watch each other kind of develop more of a following, and it's
Yeah.
cool.
Dude, this community is awesome, man. And it's funny because when you're going through your addiction and that side of the tracks, you think you're the only one. And you really do. You think you're the only one and no one understands. And man, as soon as you just admit that you have that problem and you start being vulnerable and letting people help you, man, there's so many people and the people are absolutely beautiful. and that's such a cool thing about, you know, this community that we're in right now, and it's getting bigger, you know, and it's awesome. And people are starting to look at us a little bit differently now, especially as we continue to educate with like podcasts like this and just social media. You know, it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I want to hear more about the dry oak a bit later, but you did mention, you said some people in your life, or people in your life that know you from the past, and they're seeing what you guys are doing right now with the dry oak, and not just that, but with your sobriety and everything. Can you backtrack and show me, kind of paint a picture of what it was like back when your addiction sort of started and how it progressed, and maybe Cayla can kind of chime in some of her experiences from whatever she may have witnessed, and I can hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we talked about, I mean, we're both from New Orleans. The culture, everyone knows we celebrate for everything, including funerals. It doesn't matter. There's always a celebration. It's a beautiful culture, beautiful people. But as a child, you know, you're very vulnerable, and you see that. And when everyone's doing it, it becomes normal. And I was always one of those kids who wanted to know what the adults were doing. They look like they're having a great time. Every home in New Orleans, everyone has a bar. You know, at the age of 10, I poured my first drink. It was a bourbon. And, you know, for a 10-year-old, that's your first drink. That's not too good. But I enjoyed it. It was like a warm blanket, like everyone says. I was always an anxious kid, and everything really chilled out. I knew, I was like, man, this is great, you know? But being 10 years old, drinking bourbon, that was my first hangover. You know, it just, as I got older, I continued, not heavy, because I mean, you're 10, but I'm continuing to try it, to continue to, you know, drink. And as I get into high school, it gets worse. Then we have Hurricane Katrina come down. We lose everything, lose friends, family, homes, schools. That messed with a lot of us who were teenagers. Man, that's really when it kicked off. No one was worried about how old you were. They had bigger fish to fry. So we can walk into any store, any gas station. No one's looking at a license to see how old you are. And they know how old we are, but they're not worried about it. Man, it really took off then. And then, you know, that kind of helps you experiment with other things. You know, that's when drugs come in. You kind of starting to mess around. We're spending a lot of time in the city. You know, I mean, our parents, they were watching us, but they had bigger fish to fry too. You know, I mean, they're trying to get your home back in order, trying to get businesses back in order. And we were just running wild, man. Just, I mean, it was, it was, it was pretty good. It was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, from that time, I I was just wide open. I partied every weekend. I partied during the week. It really didn't matter. And that was my high school. That was my career. You know, I mean, I bounced from school to school, and just drinking and partying. And then college came, and man, I was so in the thick of it, man. That was in my mind. I thought everything was okay. You know, especially when you get to college. I'm in a fraternity,
Yeah,
and,
same.
you know, that's perfect, right? I mean, that is so normalized what I'm doing. No one's telling me anything different. But that's really when I started the pills. I was very much addicted to amphetamines, man. It was something that I really couldn't get off. Drinking and Adderall, Vyvanse, you know, that's what we did. A little bit of cocaine here and there, but you know, that was, man, it was rough. Just to think about it now, it really makes me exhausted.
I know. I'm exhausted here,
It's
sitting here
it
Yeah,
thinking
makes me
about it.
exhausted. And you know, doing it, I didn't think anything of it. Even I would get arrested and just say, "Oh, that's just another bump in the road." You know, everything's gonna be
yeah,
okay. Everybody else is doing it. You know, we're just kids. But I was feeding the monster, man. And
yeah,
and I just continued doing it. I wasn't exhausted from it. I just thought that was just part of my college and you know, part of the career. And then, you know, move on. We have our daughter, and she's amazing, Sophia, and now I'm a father. I just moved out of the fraternity house, and now I'm a father. So we have to shift speeds, and that's not very easy, you know? And I had no money at the time because I just got out of school. I'm trying to figure that out. And so all that stress comes down on me, and I'm just continuing my lifestyle, but I also have to hide it. And that's when all that starts coming in, hiding and lying. And, you know, that was absolutely exhausting, man. And I guess I continued that streak till she was what, 7,
Yeah.
8 years old. And, just to speed up the story, I was to the point where I was exhausted and I didn't want to wake up anymore. I don't know if you got to that point, but I was just, this is it, man. I don't want to do this. And we had an event on a Saturday.
Mm, I
It,
think so. Yeah.
yeah, on a Saturday, and it was a fair, a school fair.
Yes. Yes. That was kind of the tipping point.
And I told Cayla that I had to use the restroom, and they had a restroom at the fair, but I decided to walk to the grocery store, and I just bought everything. And I took the long way back, and I just chugged. And I had a few little pills in my pocket, and I took those. And man, that was my rock bottom night right there.
Wow.
That was it. Cayla kicked me out the next day. That was it, man. And I was exhausted. I told myself, I was like, man, I don't want to wake up anymore. I would do better if I let my family, go on their lives without me. So I had made up my mind that I was going to go home. I was going to drink all the rest of the alcohol, take the rest of the pills, and not wake up. Well, it was a Sunday, and Cayla was like, we're going to go to church. And I always went to church, but I just went through the motions, and I would go mostly just to support my wife and kids. And we used to sit all the way at the top because I thought all the people at the bottom, they were crazy with their hands up. And I was like, I'm not doing that, but I'll go to church and I'll sit at the top. So she drugged me to church. It was just her and I. And, church was over and we're leaving. And she says, hey, we're going to go get prayed over. And I was like, I'm not getting prayed over. But she's very stern. She said, no, we're going to get prayed over. And I said, you know what? I tried everything. Let's just try this. And if it makes her happy, this is what she's going to, this will be the last thing I give her, is her letting me get prayed over. So we walk up to the front and, when you're not used to that, it feels weird,
Yeah.
And we get to the front and Cayla tells me to tell the lady, and I said, oh, I just want to get prayed over. We go up there and Cayla tells me, to tell them that I want to get prayed over. I said, I want to get prayed over. And Cayla goes,
Tell them your story.
tell them the story. And I was like,
Or tell them why, at least.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. And this lady, she went through it all. There
Similar
was
story.
probably like 25 people, and we were drawn straight to her.
This one lady.
And it ran in a family. It ran through her and
I think her kids.
her
Too, huh?
kids. And so she prays over me. And I said, you know what? This is something I never did before. And I'm gonna ask God, say, hey, if you're real, just take this from me. You know what my plans are. And man, I'm telling you, he told me it is finished. It is done. And I just felt it. And you hear those stories and you say, nah, there's no way. But it happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt everything just leave. And when it was over, we were walking out the doors and I'm like, dude, that's it. And Kayla's like, what? I said, man, this journey is going to be very long. But I know one thing, if I listen and do everything he tells me to do, I'm getting the goosebumps, but it will be the way it's supposed to be. And he will lead me to what he's meant for me and her to do. And man, I tell people that story all the time because I want them to feel that.
It's incredible. It's like a full-on spiritual awakening that
it was
yeah, you hear about the stories and you're just like, nah, that's not going to happen to me. Or like, we both were raised Catholic. And so we kind of fell off because when you have all these bad things happen, it makes you kind of shy away from, your faith. And you're like, okay, all this bad stuff is happening. So if there is a God and if you are real, why is all of this happening to me? So
there's always a reason why these things are happening.
So
It was
interesting that you guys say that, because I had the same experience. I was baptized Catholic. I was brought up in Catholic schools as a kid growing up, so it was, kind of forced on me a little bit. And then all the complicated childhood and growing up and all the obstacles I had to face, I'm like, of course my faith was always questioned, just because I
Yeah.
didn't know why I went through it. And then this last time that I finally been sober over a year now, and this last time I was in the hospital, I was sitting there just like thinking, I was trying to convince myself that I was going to be able to quit on my own again. And then all of a sudden, this nun that knew me from childhood, hadn't seen me in 30 years. This nun, I happened to be in the hospital that I was airlifted to because I was, basically on my deathbed. And so I happened to go to this hospital where this nun who worked at the school when I was like 8 or 9 years old, so 30 years ago, recognized my name on the list of people. And she was the one that usually goes in and, basically reads people their rights, kind of before they pass away and stuff. And like, says a quote from the Bible or whatever. And she saw my name on this list. It wasn't the list of people that were passing away, but she just recognized my name and felt the need to come to my room and say, hey, I'm Sister Margie, actually, is her name. I have her phone number and keep in touch with her to this day, which is crazy. But she came to my room and prayed for me every single day I was in the hospital. And I finally just like started to feel something the more she came in there. And I was like, this has got to be a sign. I'm going to go to rehab and I'm going to do it differently this time. And I haven't touched a drink since, but I felt something different that day.
Yeah.
So I'm always amazed when other people experience something like that, at church, where it's like you're drawn to that particular woman. And she had a story that actually could relate to yours, and it was just meant to happen. And I don't know, it's just it gives me
it's
goosebumps.
amazing, man. I tell everyone, I'm like, I never push it, but I let them know my story and I try to introduce them to Christ. And I say, hey, just give it a chance. You don't know how to pray. Don't worry about it. Just talk like me and you are talking.
Mhm.
And I promise you, if you open your heart and you become vulnerable, he will use you the way you were supposed to be used.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, man.
It is. It is. I mean, I'm in the the AA program and everything, and I even coming out of treatment was still pretty reluctant to really like devote myself to God and a higher power. But like within months, I started really opening up to it, and now I'm like higher power this, higher power that. I read the Bible more, and that's just
Yeah.
things anybody can change if they just open themselves up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So Kayla, so you guys met in college?
Yeah. So I know that's what I was gonna kind of
Yeah, you got to fill in.
my side of the story. So
Let's hear
yeah,
your point of
we
view.
met, and it's crazy how all things happen, according to his plan. And I feel like everything always happens for a reason. And people always say that, but it really is true. So we actually met. The only reason we even met was because of Hurricane Katrina, which was like kind of his tipping point to where he started all of his stuff. I went to an all girls Catholic high school. And so we had boys come to our school because he was displaced and all that. So we met through there. We were just friends though. And then we rekindled like in college, not trying to date or anything. I feel like you sent me a drunk message or some stupid stuff. And then, yeah, then we were just like, okay, look, I'm going to be up where you are this weekend. Let's hang out, whatever. The first weekend, we just got to tell for giggles. The first weekend I go to meet him, ghosted me. And I'm like, this dude, I'm like, we've been knowing each other for years. Like I drove 2 hours to go see this guy, whatever. Why did you ghost me? You want to tell him?
I was in jail.
What was it? Public intoxication. Yeah. So that was like the first point of our story, So then, for me, and I feel like this has been, I say this all the time, I always knew who Taylor was sober. So like all these little stupid things that would happen, and like he was drunk and we'd go to this bar and he'd act like an asshole in front of everybody. And I'm like, whatever. Like it was the alcohol. And again, that's how we were raised. That was our culture. Like we didn't know any different. We thought that was normal,
Yeah.
And what else are you supposed to do than to just go out and drink and party? And there's nothing else for people to do. So I always made excuses kind of, I guess, for the behavior, and it would get pretty bad. And then he'd kind of go back and say, okay, look, let me take away the whiskey. Let me take away, like, I can't have dark liquor. And I feel like a lot of people do that too. They'll kind of make different, rules for themselves. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I can't have more than 3 beers. I can't mix beer and liquor. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, So we go through college. Like he was saying, we had our daughter straight out of college, which that put a lot of pressure on us, I feel like. And again, how we were raised, whenever we're stressed, we're anxious, we're even to celebrate, we drink alcohol. So that was just our crutch for a lot of stuff. And we always use that as a crutch to kind of get through life and get through all the hard times. So we had her. For me, I started noticing certain things. Like we said, he was drinking at the fair that time, but drinking at, our kids' birthday parties and like every little thing that we didn't necessarily need alcohol to be at, he would need to. And I think too, it was maybe him being uncomfortable or not okay with kind of his situation or where we were at in life. So that was just always his escape. But I mean, there were a couple times where like we were at a neighbor's like kid's birthday party. He got wasted. He wound up like, she was just being very sneaky and like he would embarrass us in front of people. And I'm like, sorry, y'all, like, he just had one too many, whatever. And people would laugh it off. But I mean, inside, like that was killing me. Like it was just, I was fed up and it just got to the point where our kids started seeing things. We had a couple things too. I'm trying to think of other just like little stories. I just like to tell these stories because I know that it's not just me that this happens to. When we got engaged, like he was so nervous, so he drank the whole time. And then after proposing, he went and like just hung out with people like in the restaurant that we were at and like left me. And at the time, I'm like, okay, yeah, he was nervous, he was drinking, whatever. And the older I got, I just like, those are things that I can never get back, our wedding too. Homeboy was plastered and he what did you do? Well, you got sick on the way out. He literally passed out. So I was at after our reception was over, we went back to our hotel and we had all of our guests. So I'm there hosting the guests by myself. And again, I made excuses for his behavior. And then I got to a point and I'm like, Kayla, this is not okay. Like, this is not okay. And I just kept putting up with it. And it got to the point where I was just kind of fed up. So, yeah, he had gotten like a DUI when I was pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant with our second child. We only have 2 kids. And again, like I said in the beginning, I always knew who he was sober. And so I just kind of let all that stuff go. But over time, it builds up and it really weighs on you and it really puts a damper on your relationship. Your health, everything. I had all these different health issues and a lot of stress, anxiety. Like I was physically sick just dealing with everything. And let me tell you what, you would have never known. We were out taking family pictures. Everything on social media was picture perfect. But behind the scenes, we were crumbling and it was a disaster. So yeah, he had kind of told his story of his turning point. And that's, I feel like, when things changed. And so that's kind of our goal now is to, for me, especially the spousal side and even for kids, so many people deal with what I went through and they feel like they can't talk about it. They hide it from their friends, their family. I did the same thing. I made excuses for his behavior. I lied to my friends and it was just, it's an exhausting way to live. So
I think it's a
that is
combination
one of
of
my
like
goals now.
denial, or is it like you just want to, you're basically in denial about what's going on in your home life behind the
Yep.
scenes? Yeah.
And again, I feel like a lot of it is because of, our culture, our society, how we were raised, both of our parents. That's all we would do I feel like maybe my first drink was, I don't know, 13, 14. But like, again, it was cool, it was cool to drink. And whenever you could have your first little daiquiri when you're at home with your parents and all that. So we didn't know any other way than how we were living. So that is one of my goals because I know what I went through. I know what so many spouses go through, men, women, whoever, families too. And that's what we see now, which is so beautiful because Taylor kind of handles the addict side. And then I'm there kind of supporting like, hey, I understand what you've been through. You have to, though, as much as you want to hate them, you have to be there and kind of suck up your pride, because one thing I feel like I always dealt with was I could always handle my alcohol. And I was always like, well, why can't he just stop? Why can't he, just stop after 2? Or why does he get to this point when I never experienced that? But some people don't, that's not their.
Which is always the hardest question to get when you are the addict or the alcoholic, right? Like, why can't you quit? We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been working on this for, you know, for years, and we can't figure it out. And it's the hardest thing, every time she tells a story, I'm like, man, I have a resume on why you shouldn't drink, and in my head, I was like, nah, man, I'm still good. And it just, it just feeds you so many lies.
It does.
And, I love that we're doing this because there's so many families, because we get them all the time, that have these questions, and
Mhm.
and they feel like they're the only ones that are going through it. And it's like, no, man, that's what this stuff will do you. And they
Mhm.
sell it. You can walk in, especially down here, you can go anywhere and you can get it.
Mhm.
You can go to the dollar store and you can get alcohol. It just ruins lives.
Ruins
Yeah,
family. Yeah.
it does. Yeah, that was one of my questions I was going to ask, Kayla. So you could basically witness Taylor go through all this, even through college, post college, and all that. But you were okay with drinking on your own, but you just had like you had a better way of controlling it and not needing the extra.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like too, just knowing, I will say this, when I started looking at my habits, because I stopped drinking once he got sober, because I'm like, what good is it doing if I'm sitting here in his face? And then I'm like, okay, I look at my habits. Why am I drinking? I'm drinking because I'm stressed. I'm drinking because I'm anxious. I'm whatever, social anxiety. And it's like, that's not a good reason either. So yeah, once I kind of looked at my habits, I stopped. I never went back. I have never touched a drop since, and it has been the best thing. And that's what I'm here to kind of educate on, is like, life is hard and we know that. Everyone knows that. And it's okay to do life without alcohol, without substances. And we're living proof that you can get through it, because we were at the bottom. I mean, everything that could have happened to us.
Yeah.
And so we're just here. We're like, yeah, we put out our story. And once we initially did, like, I think we did this first podcast, like we first told our story and we're like, what do we say? What do we not say? And we're like, no, like, God saved him and saved our marriage and healed him for this reason. And that's what we're going to do, because we are helping and saving so many people. It's just incredible. So, but yeah, I stopped to kind of support him. And then, but it's cool because we have people who come from all walks of life, I feel like, in our
Yeah.
store. So whether they're going through addiction, I like to tell the story. We had, when we first opened, a young girl walk in, and we could tell she was like timid and just very nervous. And all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I've been seeing y'all over social media. She started crying, and it was her dad's anniversary of his death, 7 years to his death, that he died
Of
from
alcoholism.
alcoholism.
Oh,
She had never touched a drop of alcohol, and people are so scared because they don't know, yeah, will this stuff trigger them? So that's what we're here to do too, is educate, because everybody's on a different journey. And everybody has a different story. It could even be health reasons. We have people who were diagnosed with cancer and then just stopped drinking because they didn't want to feed their bodies garbage anymore. So it's really incredible. Everyone has a different and unique story, and we're just here to support that in whatever way we
Yeah.
can.
oh, it's amazing. No, yeah, like Taylor was saying earlier, it's just the fact that not a lot of people, there's not a lot of awareness about kind of like what the other half goes through during the entire process, and like what he or she witnesses. And even when it comes to like the actual sobriety part, like, am I going to quit completely even though I didn't have a problem? I mean, that's a decision to make, but I mean, I'm sure that makes things easier. But I think that a lot of this have to do with a lot of those thoughts are what inspired the dry oak then. Just because it's like, hey, neither of us are going to drink for the rest of our lives, even though one of us had the primary problem.
Yeah.
We're both
Yeah.
parents.
I feel like this was all born off of. And even the mocktail bar in the beginning, I was always like, what was missing? I go back to think of all those different times where we were in a situation. I'm like, what could have made the situation better? Having a non-alcoholic option at a nicer restaurant, non-alcoholic options, at bars, or just normalizing that. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
to go out and get trashed every single night, but that's all we know how to do. And so, yeah, offering a place and a space where people feel comfortable, and just we're kind of we want to shake up the ground. Like, and I feel like we talk to a lot of our reps too, who we have reps that do sell alcohol, and they're like, y'all are putting a damper in our sales right now. And I'm like, hell yeah, we are.
Yeah, because we also educate the bars and the
Yeah.
bartenders because there was a time where I would go into a bar and I'd ask for a mocktail because I was trying to get sober. And they would look at me like I was wasting their time. And
That's how I
luckily,
felt
those
in New
times
Orleans.
that they did that, I was in a good headspace, but they could get someone who is not in a good headspace and say, you know what, this is it. And then we lose someone to addiction,
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
just that easy, that quick.
And when we talk to these bartenders and the bars in general, they say, I never even thought about that. And now we have places down here who are sectioning off their bars and putting these alcohol, these NA beverages in their bars, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
That would be
And this
so
is
important for people like me, like just traveling recently. And I was thinking at the airport, I associate airports with drinking. I drink before I go through security. I drink after security. I drink on the plane. I'm just like, how nice it would be to not feel like I have to avoid the bar at all costs. I could still go in, watch, ESPN and sip, a mocktail or something and just not feel guilty about it. Like that would
wouldn't
be
it be
cool.
nice to have a vending machine
Yeah.
with NA beverages?
Yes,
Yes.
that would be incredible.
That's what he keeps talking about because he'll travel for work and he's like, we need to put a vending machine. So, and what you were saying about, going to the airport and having a beverage. So one thing I feel like that we educate on is there's so many options besides just your non-alcoholic options. Like you have things that are percent, you have things that are less than 0.5%. And we have people who ask us that all the time. And they're like, well, it says less than 0.5%. I'm like, okay, well, that is equivalent to like a yogurt, a fermented fruit, or like mouthwash, and your body will metabolize that quicker than you could feel the effects. So educating people on that, because you have somebody go into a grocery store, and they see something like that, they're like, okay, no, this has alcohol in it. But just to educate on that, you have, your non-alcoholic spirits. Again, will this trigger people? Some people get triggered by the taste of tequila. Some people are like, hey, I can't live without tequila, but I don't need the alcohol. I just want the taste of it. So that's great for them. Then you have that whole other side, kind of like we showed you, the functional side. And that I feel like is the future of just NA in general, because you have things like ashwagandha, lion's mane, functional mushrooms, adaptogens. Kava is one of
Kava.
them
I was
too.
going to
But
ask about
things
Kava.
things that are good for the brain and the body that naturally kind of take the edge off. It's a win-win. It's like, it's incredible. And that's where we've seen, I feel like the most success is all of our functional stuff. We don't judge on it, but we don't do anything with THC
No
here.
THC in it.
Just because we feel like you're subbing one for another in a way. And for certain people, especially Taylor, like that's not good
Mind
to,
altering.
yeah. So exactly.
I don't want
No,
to be the reason why someone takes THC or CBD and says, you know what, that clicks in their head and they go and start drinking. I don't want to be that reason. To me, it's like when a doctor gives you a prescription for amphetamines and you say, this is medicine, and there I am just popping it all day long. I didn't want to be that. I want to help people.
and we have people who
Exactly.
come in looking for it and they're like, why don't y'all sell THC? And at one point, and I feel like we were just being tested, but he's like, do we? Because we've had such a large asking for it. And I'm like, absolutely not, because that's going against our mission and what we stand for. And you can do life, again, like you said, mind altering substances. We can do it without it. So there's so many other options that are better for you.
So people tell us, oh, well, you were taking money out of our pockets. It's not about money. It's about helping each other through this journey. And like you asked earlier, about the dry oak, the biggest thing was I didn't want anyone to be left in that dark place or in that fire like I was. And I promised God that I was going to go in and save as many people as I possibly could. And that's what we're going to do. And man, it brings so much joy to do that.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I'm still thinking about the tour you gave me, and I was looking at all of the bottles, like some of them looked like, reminded me of like a Moet bottle and stuff. It's just like, you can still drink in style. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
It's man, and there's so many new ones popping up every week. It's crazy. So that's been fun too. That process of getting the samples, trying it, and being the first two to try it, and then sharing it with our customers. It's been awesome.
So what percentage of like your drinks or what types of drinks usually have things like kava and ashwagandha, and what does kava do exactly? I always hear about it, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so we have a pretty good functional section.
I would say about 40%
Yeah,
maybe is
yeah,
functional.
and we're adding, like, today we just made a purchase that we're gonna add a new company to the shelf, so we're growing it every day. But kava, it is a root that they milk,
It's
and
out of the South
out of the
Pacific.
South Pacific, and it literally looks like milk. And to me, it tastes like a lemony ginger taste. But people are mixing it with limoncello. They're mixing it with Topo Chico. We have a brand called Gold Drop, which they're also mixing it with. You can make margaritas, pina coladas, whatever you want out of that. And the relaxing feeling that it gives you, it's and with no hangover, right? And you can still go out throughout your day and do regular things, but it's just a very relaxing feeling. We would give people samples, and within 5-10 minutes, people are in here going, "Man, I feel awesome." And it's just it's great.
It's
We have
something that's been used for centuries too.
Yeah.
Like at first, I'm like, okay, because again, I'm very cautious on what we bring in here because there have been a couple of things that are on the market that they are marketing to individuals as an alcohol alternative that it's actually worse, like kratom. I mean, I'm
Kratom.
sure, yes. I know someone, a girl that I actually used to work with, her brother overdosed and they lost him to that because they're out there marketing that. Someone had shipped us a box of it. And I'm like, thank you for the samples, but absolutely not.
Yeah,
So,
we can buy it at the mini mart 2 blocks from where I am right
yes, it's
now, and I'm just
everywhere.
like,
And I know they're trying to kind of fight it in different states and just to make it illegal. That does not need to be on the market as an alternative to alcohol.
Yeah.
So, Kava, we were like, I'm very cautious, but we did a lot of research. It is, yeah, there's so much science behind it. And it's been around, like I said, for centuries. That's kind of what they use in the South Pacific as like their alcohol per se. Like they just sip it. I think they sip it neat usually, but we
and
have
it's
that.
not
We have a
habit forming at all.
no.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's, I feel like a lot of the stuff, the functional stuff, because we have people that ask us that, like, how many can I drink, all that. And we always tell them, just like with alcohol too. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, like, don't take the bottle of kava
yeah,
and
Yeah, and
and
just
and
chug
get,
it.
chug it.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that's the thing too with it. At least with me, and then everyone else who comes in, like, hey, I make one drink and I'm fine. I'm not craving it. I put it up, and everyone else that comes in, and that's a really popular item that we have.
Yeah,
And
we
they
sell
say the
out of it
same
all.
thing. They're like, man, I just make one at nighttime or during the day, maybe drink two, one in the daytime, one at night, and that's
Yeah.
it.
We have people who are sober that will actually drink it. I actually have a lot of guys I feel like it. I think just because
Yeah.
of maybe like the potency of it, it's gonna give you a little more of a relaxation feeling quicker than like if you were to drink a Hyo, because I know you've had Hyo before. But I have guys who like they don't want to drink during the week, so they'll do something like that. And so that one, and I'm looking over there in the video, but we have two other functional spirits. All of our other ones are non-alcoholic, but Little Saints is another one that they have different mushrooms, functional mushrooms. You have a gin alternative and then a tequila mezcal alternative, and those have lion's mane mushroom in them. So a lot of this stuff, I mean, it just de-stresses your mental clarity,
Yeah.
cognition. It's just all stuff that's good for you, especially out when you're socializing and stuff too, versus mind altering
Yeah.
like alcohol does to you.
exactly. So do you think some of those, like, do you think some of those drinks you have out now are getting like people that maybe weren't even intending on like being sober, but you think they're
Yeah.
finding
Absolutely.
this as an opportunity to like cut back on drinking altogether?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's been
And we love that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
we
been
that's
love
crazy.
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
We have people, who they're just like, once they kind of see what it does for them, or they may, just cut their habits during the week and not drink anymore during the week and then save the weekend for drinking. I have one lady who comes and gets one of our non-alcoholic red wines, and she'll cut her current wine with that. And I'm like, that's great too. Like any little thing that you can do to better your habits it's great. So
Yeah, but it has really been crazy how many people that we've gotten say, you know what? I'm not drinking anymore. This is awesome. I don't miss the way I used to feel, you know.
yeah.
And then, dude, it's Monday. We woke up, no fog, no
Yeah,
hangover, no regret. I mean, this is awesome. I like
that's got to be
Mondays.
so rewarding for you guys when you get that kind of feedback, you know.
You said
Yeah,
I like
I like Mondays. Used to hate Mondays.
we used to
Yeah,
I like
I know.
birds chirping in the morning,
and we
you
had
Here
a
know?
we
safe
are on a Monday morning doing a podcast.
pass. We would have been hungover on a
Yeah.
Monday. So
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like what a difference your company is probably making, and you don't even, I mean, you probably do realize most of it, but it's like not only people that want to quit drinking, but people that want to cut back, or people that just enjoy the taste and just, you know, feel like they want a non-alcoholic beverage. I mean,
yeah.
because, yeah, I like it. Cool. How, if you don't mind me asking, so you guys have two kids?
Two kids.
Two kids, okay. And then did they, you know, going through all of this, were they very aware of kind of like everything that was going on before and why you
Yeah.
Yeah, our
started the
daughter
company?
Our
was.
daughter was. So we have a 12-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. Total opposites, but they're great. Our oldest, yeah, she saw him in like the thick of stuff. And that's what really got hard for me and for him too, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that was, she just started seeing more. You know, when they're babies and when they're toddlers, they're not going to remember any of that stuff, you know, but once his habits kind of started just escalating, she was at an age where like she would get anxious and nervous, and she's such a good kid too. And I'm like, I don't want this for her, you know? So she is incredible. And it always, like, I'm going to start crying now, but it always makes me cry because she has just come out so resilient from all of this, you know? And yeah, she's one of the main reasons why we did this too. And I know she's so proud of Taylor and where he is now and his journey and
Yeah,
stuff.
she's incredible. Sophia, that's her name. She's seen it all.
Yeah. Oh.
And now, you know, she's so proud. I know she's so proud. And then our little boy, he has no idea. You know,
Yeah.
he knows that daddy used to drink beer. That's what he says. He
Yeah.
knows that daddy used to drink beer, but he'll never have to see me like that.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I go around and speak. We'll go to different colleges that have recovery programs, and I bring them with me because I want them to know my story.
Good.
And I want them to see the people who are in recovery,
Yeah, that's
and
huge for
and
us.
and that's huge. I want them to know those people, and to know what could happen if you go down that path. And it's been beautiful. They love it just to watch their little faces and meet the people. You know, it's an awesome community, man. It is, and more people need to understand that, you know, not losers.
Exactly. And
We're
it's
the
great that
best
your kids
people.
are getting educated about it really early on, you know, and they're not in
Yeah.
the dark about it, and they're not going into, you know, growing up not being, you know, being completely
Yeah.
oblivious, you know.
Yeah. And here and there, I feel like I just thought of this. We went out to like a bingo night one night at bar that's around here. It's called the Beer Garden. It's one of our friends. He owns it. And that's the one Taylor was talking about, that he's starting like an NA space and stuff, which is really cool. But just like the noise and the people at the bar, like she started getting anxious and upset. And I think too, we didn't realize how much it was affecting her. So I'm so thankful that it all kind of came to a halt when it did, because I mean, there's still certain things to this day that here and there, like she's so wise and she's so mature for her age, but little things will kind of trigger her. So, and I know so many, like I said, from a spousal and, you know, family standpoint, it's like so many kids deal with this or they see certain things. And so I feel like that's one of my biggest missions, because we dealt with things as kids too. You know, we saw things and we went through things that, I mean, our generation, I feel like, is the generation of change. Like our parents and our grandparents, they're just stuck in their ways and I don't really see them. It was kind of our generation that it's like, okay, either we're going to stay where we are or
We're
we're
like the
going to,
healing generation.
we really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been great, but they're really good kids. And thank God that I did.
Awesome.
I'll say this just to kind of get people to think on this, for people who are in this situation. We've gotten the question of, what are you going to do if your kids drink alcohol or ask to drink alcohol? And I'm like, honestly, I've never thought of that before.
That is a great
But
question.
it's really just like, as long as we can set the foundation, and they're going to do what they're going to do as kids, and all we can do is be there and guide them. And at least we're going to be, clear, sober minded, and they can see from kind of our mistakes. I do feel like, though, like the future generations are more aware of what they're doing and putting in their body and all that stuff too.
I
But
think so.
I
all about
always like to,
education. It's all
I
about
always
education.
like to, and just supporting them. Like if they do go through something like that, okay. Because I have family, well, I'm sorry, not family, friends who will come in here that have their kids are kind of high schoolish age. So like they're going to prom and all that. And they'll come get little functional things for them, or like an NA champagne.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's great. Because when we were in high school, we were getting
Oh,
minor
and
in possessions and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So,
bottle-
Yep. I've had a few of those.
yeah.
So
No, that's another cool thing. The proms, man. We've had many people come here for their proms, and we have all the NA stuff, and so
It's so
there's
cool that kids are actually thinking like that at that
yeah,
age, you know.
crazy.
yeah, because we were not.
Yeah. Yeah. I got in trouble for smuggling a fifth into prom. So
Oh, yeah.
so what's been like the biggest, like what's the 24-hour period look like with you guys now, working with doing the dry oak and everything, and how do
Yeah.
you stay on this track all the time? Because I know even me just being sober a year, you've been sober for how many years now?
3.5.
3.5. So I mean, what do you have a stick to this routine every day that kind of keeps you going?
So my day is
And
all.
let me just say this before he starts. He does this every single day. And the timing of it all, everything. And me, I'm not, I'm just not that person. And I wish I could be. But he is, what he's gonna tell you, he does it.
So every day, every
Religiously.
day I do this. I wake up every day, no matter if I go to bed at 10 or 11, I wake up at 4:53 in the morning. And I wake up and I feed the dog, the 2 cats. I make me coffee, and I sit down and I have me time. I read, I go through motivationals, and then I go and I work out before the sun comes up, because one of my favorite things to do now is to watch the sun come up, because I never saw many of those, and I didn't think I would see many of those. So every day, that's just a beautiful thing for me to have me time, watch that. Thank God for waking me up another day. I like to record videos for people in the morning so they can wake up and just hear something inspiring, or maybe help them out. And that's every morning, man. Every morning I do that, and then bring the kids to school, and we come here,
Yeah,
business, always trying to do something new. We want, this inspires us to just help people, man. And
Right.
it's one of those things. Now, look, I still have my big boy job. I'm going a month at a time. I work on ships, across, all over the place. But when I'm at home for the month that I am at home, it's that, and then when I'm out on a ship, it's pretty much the same thing too. I'm
Yeah.
waking up early and I'm doing those things.
So when you're out on a ship for a month or whatever, Kayla, you're back here kind of running the dry oak and
Yeah, I'm
keeping
holding
everything
it.
together.
Yeah. So I know, and it's like, the ultimate goal for us financially would be to have him home, but it's like right now in today's world, it's like, how do you even do that and walk away from a salary like he has, and the insurance and all, I mean, all the benefits.
Yeah.
It's so hard just to throw that away. So we're sucking it up for a little bit, and every
Especially,
other month, yeah, I am just holding it down. We have a couple of team members too here that help me. So yeah, but a lot of it is beside just the shop, like he says, him on social media, all that stuff too. So it's easy for him to kind of do his part. Yeah, I have to do all like the, taxes and all the fun things that he doesn't like to do and doesn't do.
I don't even know how to do them.
Yeah.
So,
I
but it's
I go to
good. I mean, I
TurboTax.
feel like it's easy for me to do because we've been through so much, and I know if we came out from where we were, I mean, we've got this. And I always tell him this. I'm like, there's no way that this cannot work and not be
Yeah.
successful. Just from, again, all the trials and tribulations that we've been through and where we are now. And still, we have people every day that come through and they're like, I never even knew that y'all were here, or how long have y'all been here? And we're like, the amount of marketing that we put out and publications and podcasts and all that, it's great. There's so many more people to reach, and it's good. So yeah, we are just constantly in this, but we try to, and we don't do the best at it, but we try to it's so hard to shut it off. I feel like, because we want it to be so successful and we're so passionate about it, but we're at home and we're like in bed, you're scrolling, you're editing, you're doing this. And we're like, one thing to, and I would say to encourage people is you do have to make time for yourself, whether that's in the morning, the evenings, whatever, and try to shut it off too, because you will burn yourself out. And then, all this was done for nothing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. So you guys, do a good job at time management. And then
yeah, we try.
when
at least.
Taylor's back in town, obviously he's devoted to, spending quality time with you, but also getting the dry oak, work doing all that too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys got a good work-life balance right now. And the dry oak's like your passion, it sounds like. So it's when you're passionate about what you do, it's not really work, right? So
Yeah.
Right. No,
No, it
you're-
really doesn't feel like work. I mean, the little like nitty gritty things, but it does not. We love it.
yeah,
awesome.
it's the most fulfilling thing I've done. It really
You guys
is.
are probably developing a lot of friendships with other brands and actual personal relationships with people.
Yeah.
Just
The people sometimes, I'll tell you, there's some people that we've became friends with throughout, these last 3 years. I have to pinch myself and say, I cannot believe that we have this relationship with this person.
Or friendship, or
friendship,
we've gotten to do XYZ, like the opportunity that's come from us just being ourselves and just telling our story. It's incredible. And so that always gives us hope too, because I'm like, I know what has happened in this little time frame and what still I feel like is yet to come,
Yeah.
But it's been, I mean, we have relationships with people, with our retailers, obviously, some closer than others, like we're really close with because we kind of started together. And then, just people off of social media and stuff too.
NFL.
And like, just, I mean,
Yeah.
and I hate to say celebrities because they're normal people. When you get to know somebody like that, they're just humans.
Yeah.
But it's incredible the people who we have encountered and their stories. And
I'm not
it's crazy.
saying that it's cool because, they're celebrities. It's just that this disease does not discriminate.
Mhm.
That's the
Exactly.
big thing to get out of it.
Anybody can have it. You can be a
Anyone can have
doctor, lawyer, or coming off the street.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
100%. And that's the coolest thing because, people that you watch on Sundays, you would never know, and we are going through certain things, and we deal with them. We're friends with them. They're awesome people, But like you said, it could be a guy off of a street or a lawyer or a celebrity.
I know. It's really,
So
really
it's
cool.
been really, really cool.
It's awesome. I honestly love and respect what you guys are doing. I think it's
Thank you.
really cool and really grateful for you guys coming on and talking about it and also telling me a lot about your, personal background and what you both went through, simultaneously during the addiction period and where you're at now. It's like, it's just a huge 180, like night and day, and I mean, there was so many things that led up to it between that moment at church and just, becoming parents and just all these things that kind of, made this transition for you. So really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is there anything else you'd like to share before we end the episode today? Can you share your website and how people could reach you if need be?
So we're on Instagram and Facebook at the Dry Oak. So we do a lot of like educational stuff, a lot of motivational stuff Taylor does. We have a website, www.thedryoak.com. But we love getting messages from people too, like just sharing their stories. And Taylor mentors a lot of people too that like we have younger guys and people who just need someone, no judgment. And also our inbox is always open for anything. Spouses too. Spouses.
And also we ship.
We ship nationwide too. So anything on our website or that
Awesome.
you see on our page, we can ship to you. We try to do every now and then like a little ambassador program too. So our we always have an opening for that to where we'll ship out, which we ship out to just different states and different people, whoever applies, we'll ship them out a box of like kind of our best sellers, and we get them to review, then they can share a code and give a discount to like their friends, family, anybody online. So that's been cool too. We've just been trying to find like little unique things just to kind of get this
Yeah.
outside where we are currently. So yeah,
Make you
we're
just a little
always,
bit different than the
yeah.
yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. And you guys, I told Taylor when I first talked to him, I really like the hat, and I gotta order myself one somehow.
Yeah.
But you guys,
Yeah,
are
we
you guys
have,
in the merch business too, as far as that goes?
yes, we are.
Where,
We have
where?
merch, we have t-shirts, we had sweatshirts, but we're trying to we just got a new, we got with a designer to actually like draw out our store. So we're getting more like elevated merch. You know, you start with like
Socks.
oh yeah, wait.
The
Hold
socks
on.
are cool, man.
Hell yeah, I love socks. I got some Wu-Tang socks when I was in New Orleans.
Here.
I don't know why, but I just saw them at one of those sock
Yes.
stores.
Dude, I would want those socks. Those are cool.
Yeah. So everything you need, we got.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
look, if anyone's watching this and they're going through it and they feel like, they're at their rock bottom or they feel like they're alone, you're not at all. I know probably your inbox is open. You've been through it. There's such a large community of us who
Yeah.
are willing to help and willing to just hold your hand through this whole process. And it's beautiful, man. And like she was telling you, I'm always open. I
Yeah.
don't care if I'm at work, if I'm sleeping, I wake up and I talk to people all the time. We're in this together, man.
Yeah.
If you're going down the path of your recovery right now, you should be proud of yourself. Being vulnerable and finally admitting, that you're powerless against something, that's a strength, not a weakness. And, I just told someone that the other day, they said they felt kind of weak for asking for help. I'm like, dude, that is the strongest thing you'll ever do. So you should be proud of yourself.
Well, that's great. You did answered my usual final question, which was, what advice would you give to somebody who was
Cool.
There you go.
That's perfect. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said about the community that we have, on social media. I never touched social media until I started this podcast, and I'm learning how powerful it actually is. And it goes beyond like the immature stuff that I thought it was, because I was sick all last week, and the amount of people that asked me how I was doing and just being there for me when I thought, hey, I was putting myself out to be there for other people, but the support I can feel like I have sometimes with people that I hardly know, it's just amazing. And now they're turning into real friendships.
And let me say this for another last word. You're going to get more support from strangers than you will from the people that you thought were
friends
rooting
and-
for
yeah.
you, because they know the old you. And that's one thing that it was difficult at first, but it's so rewarding. And yeah, you're going to have more people that have your back than you.
Yeah, oh, that's well said. That was my one of my final questions is usually, was there like a quote that you guys live by or you would like to share?
I'm trying to think.
Anything that stands out?
Yeah.
Shoot,
Do
I don't
you
even
have
know
any?
right now.
But you've already said so many deep things that
Yeah.
it could be quotes. But
I think I mean, besides just Bible verses, I feel like that we always, like Romans 8:28, always, I love that. All things work for the good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So like everything is going to work out for good, for your good, and you may not see it at the time. I think I quoted that right, huh?
Yeah,
I'm not good with
That's
quoting
great.
Bible verses sometimes. So
Perfect. Wow. Thank you so much to both of you. It was really fun having both of you on and hearing both perspectives and how you work together. You guys seem like an amazing couple and strong couple. And
thank
that's
you.
really good to see, that after everything y'all went through, you're just like thriving now. So it's just incredible. So
Well,
really
thanks.
happy for you. I hope we all keep in touch, and
Yeah, absolutely.
would
Yeah.
love to have you guys back on again someday, and maybe next season.
Yeah. Of course.
So next season's starting pretty soon, so that would be great. And I want to check in and see how the dry oak's doing. And I would actually like to order a thing. So text me a link or something, or
Yeah,
I'll,
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
Let's give it a
next
try, and I'll
season, we
talk
can
about
put
it
you-
on the show and stuff, and see
Yeah.
like.
What'd you say?
I said next season we can show them what we've been working on.
Oh yeah.
We have,
Yeah.
man, I guess I can tell them.
Stay tuned for Tour of the Dry Oak Store.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.
All right, we're getting a nice little tour of the dry oak here.
And look, so in here we have singles, so people can just come in and, make a 6-pack, just sample things out before they commit to a case.
Awesome.
And then on this side, we have all of our craft beers. We have a whole boatload of different IPAs, stouts, lights.
Cool. So is it all from, is there wines and beers, or what's the...
Yeah, so on this side, we have a bunch of wines, champagnes. Then we have a selection of spirits on this side. And then we have our Kava and our functional spirits over in this area right here. And then ready to go mocktails down below. And then
awesome.
On this side, we have all of our functional stuff. So of course we have Hi-O, and we're out of Breeze right now, but
It's those two things on the top right there, I've actually had recently.
oh, these Happy Thought?
Right below your hand to the right.
Oh,
They're-
Hi-O.
I had a couple of those before I had gone to the airport, actually, a couple of weeks
Dude.
ago.
Those are amazing, and it's crazy because they man, we've been working with them. That was the first company we ever started working with a few years ago, and it's really cool to watch them be successful now. They've grown and become
Yeah, they're
real.
over here in Idaho, for God's sake. But this lady at the supplement store had recommended them and stuff. So your drinks are kind of like that, because I've always been curious to like, how does a non-alcoholic like gin taste or something like that? Is that kind of what you guys have?
Yeah, so we have non-alcoholic gins, we have bourbons, we have tequila, we have vodka, which is crazy because I didn't think that many people would want like a non-alcoholic vodka. Man,
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I gotta try it out. I mean, I've always been concerned, like, hey, is that gonna like make me crave the real
Make-
thing?
like,
But
trigger
I'm like,
you, right?
no. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm like, I
and-
don't really know.
And for some, like I was scared about that too in the beginning for me. And I think it's an individual thing, we have people that come in and they just can't have red wine, and that's cool. So they stay away from that, or the champagne, because they don't want to get triggered. But I think it's one of those personal, everyone's different. But
Yeah.
so far we get a lot of people who came through sobriety, and it's worked out wonderful for them.
That's
I really
cool.
kept them on course.
So you guys got your own full-on store right there. Are you guys planning on opening different locations?
Yeah, we would really love to open up some different locations. We have some people in Texas who are looking to want to get us to expand over there. We have people
Yeah,
in Mississippi, Florida,
The
Nashville.
goal is to kind of franchise in time.
Yeah.
But right now we're just trying to perfect this model first,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
got it.
people have come out of the woodwork, so they love what they're doing, and I think it's the time. Everybody's just trying to better themselves.
I know sobriety is becoming pretty popular. It sounds like.
Yeah,
I know.
man, like I tell all the time, I'm so pumped up that it is, easier to get sober now, like with these options. And I'm like, man, I wish it was like that when I was getting sober. But it's awesome to see because, man, being in the dark, it sucks. So having this space open up for people like us has been absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. Happy for you guys. That's really cool. Yeah, my sister lives in Nashville. I'm sure they could definitely use a place like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys so is that store located in New Orleans? Like, did I say it
We're
right?
about,
New Orleans?
30
Yeah, we're
minutes
about
out?
30 minutes north of New Orleans in a town called Covington, Louisiana. So we're downtown Covington. Yeah, we're originally from New Orleans.
Awesome.
So we
Awesome.
did. Yeah. That's where this all originated.
It's just where it all originated.
Yeah.
We can blame New Orleans.
Cool. Awesome. I went there for the first time back in June, so loved it. And I went sober, and that was like even more fun, kind of witnessing it, just seeing all the craziness, completely
Yeah.
sober.
People watching.
I tried to get like a non-alcoholic, one of those like margarita slushy things that they serve everywhere, but like they were still like charging me alcohol prices to go.
Yeah, it's been.
They're like, wait, I don't understand. You're like, no, I want the just a slushy. They're like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. No, and they charged me for a bottle of water. I'm like, man, it's just as expensive to be sober, apparently.